Let's record to the cloud. Hey, everybody. It is me, Tracy and Brian Swint, and it is Sister Soul Sunday number 5, baby. And we are here doing our self-care day at Hey Honey Spa. For those of you who don't know, I've been absent last month because we were doing our grand opening of our spa. Me and my husband were working really, really hard to get everything in order so that we can continue to heal the community, help to heal the community, because that's part of my purpose, is to help other people connect with their healing. But in connecting with their healing, that means I have to be doing my work. I have to be doing my soul work. I have to be doing my personal work. So in that, I'm going to introduce you to one of our Love My Womb Academy students who is here from Florida. And she is here at Hey Honey Spa doing quantum biofeedback.
Hey guys. Still kind of early for me, so excuse the bags. Yes, I am here for a few days doing life system biofeedback. I am having a great time helping and assisting everyone to help their own body heal.
Mm-hmm.
So
yes,
I'm proud to be a part of Hey Honey.
Yes.
Love Thy Womb Academy and all that.
Yes. And her name is Angela Tate. Y'all go look her up. Angela PD Tate. Go look her up on Facebook. She is awesome. And coming with that, with all of that, and doing this work, I just had my biofeedback session this morning. And I have to tell you, like I said, today is Self-Care Sunday for all of us here at the spa. So we have Consuela here too. And Consuela is going to be getting her biofeedback. And me and her are going to be doing some foot detoxing in a minute. But right now she's setting up for a yoni steam. And this is our sister Consuela.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Sister Circle, and greetings to you all, and I hope you all are having a blessed and prosperous morning.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for having me and embracing me.
Okay, tell me a little bit about what you're doing here for us, sister. Okay. You're getting that steam together.
So right now I'm setting up for Goddess V Steam. So I prepared the chair, her yoni seat, of course, and I've got my herbs sitting over here in the pot. Right here, a bag of herbs, waiting for our beautiful goddess to come in and steam and release. I've also set up some fragrance for her, so she can have some good aromatherapy. And then she has some candles for fresh fragrances as well. And once she comes in, she'll come in and she'll have her great steam and release and healing. So thank you all.
So yeah, we do have one sister here that is getting services because it is part of her, it's her birthday. And even though we don't open on Sundays, we opened today because her husband called and she really wanted us to treat his wife with that goddess touch because, Hey Honey is a new tranquil spa experience, goddess spa experience. And he wanted his wife to have that. And he didn't necessarily understand what that was, but I gave it to her. We giving it to her. So Alicia's in the room with her now, doing some therapeutic touch. That is where you mix energy with massage. So, but we call it therapeutic touch. So yes. All right. So let's get to business. Yeah, my hair is looking a little crazy today, and I just jumped up because, like I said, this is Self-Care Sunday. So when it's Self-Care Sunday, I don't necessarily have to, get all dolled up or whatever. I could just come as I am because I need to get some work done. So, yes, I did my actual life-changing biofeedback today, and I have to tell you, I have no pain in my back. I suffer, well, I don't want to say suffer. That is the wrong word, and I don't want to put that spell on myself. But I experience low back pain often, and it really heightens when I experience tired. When I'm very tired, it really heightens itself. So I was able to remove that back pain because that's what the biofeedback does. It actually identifies any discomforts and infections and diseases and things going on in your body, and it uses quantum energy to correct it. So not only do you identify with what's going on, you also get a correction through the energy. And it also refers you to supplements and minerals and foods that can help you to restore your body back to homeostasis, back to in alignment with its perfect balance. Because we all been sent here in this avatar body. And this avatar body, honey, is something. Because we all signed a contract before we got here that we were going to do this thing called life, and we were going to come through to these parents, and we were going to have this many siblings, and we were going to have come through this grandmother and this great grandmother, because as some of you may know, or some of you don't know, that we are in our grandmothers and great grandmothers' wombs as well as ovaries. So we're there as eggs, we're there as possibility, we're there as seeds planted. So we're already there, and we're experiencing all of the different experiences and traumas. You can come up here, sis. You ain't got to do all that. We're already experiencing all of the different traumas and states of consciousness that they're experiencing. So what we had discussed last time in our meeting was how we have experience trauma. That was what you need to put in the group that we're here. How we experience trauma. And with that, we talked about some ways to help release and also some of that trauma. We talked about that in our last meeting, in our Sister Soul Sunday number 4. So if you want to go back to that recording, that video recording, you can. It is in the group, okay? So you might want to put in Sister Soul Sunday 4, and it should come up for you. So we did talk about how to release our own personal traumas. But then what we also discussed was that all of the traumas that we have and that we're experiencing aren't our own. They aren't our own. Some of them have been passed down. They have been inherited. First of all, I want to say, if you eat like Grandmama knew, if you think like Grandmama knew, if you handle your stress in your daily life like Grandmama knew, more often than likely, you're going to have some of the same inherited illnesses that Grandmama knew had. The cancer, the diabetes, the high blood pressure, the hypertension, and all of these other ailments that grandmama and granddaddy and great grandmama and them had. Us coming from the slave plantation culture, a lot of it starts with the psychosis and the psychic trauma from that actual experience. And with that experience, there was an environment that helped to enhance and produce even more trauma through the experience. So you had the experience, the physical experience, you had the mental experience, you had the psychological experience, you have the emotional experience, then you have the spiritual experience. That type of mayafa, that journey from wherever we were or whatever was going on to coming to this continent and being put in bondage, whether it was a physical bondage, a mental bondage, racial bondage, all of these bondages that we have, that we're experiencing, they came from some things that were inherited. And we have this slave culture. We have this plantation culture to now where even with the foods that most of us currently eat, the foods that grandmama and them ate, the foods that granddaddy, great grandmama, great uncle, great aunt, all the foods they ate, most of them were the scraps, that were left over from that experience. And those foods are not high vibrational foods. Those foods are actually doing more harm than good. All of the fats, all of the pork meat, all of the, and I think one of the hardest things for us to probably kick is bacon. Baby, people like the bacon on everything. Bacon on this, bacon on chips, bacon on sandwiches, bacon on burgers, bacon on bacon, bacon on chicken. Bacon, baby, I'm telling you. all of this, the pig's feet, the cooking of the pig's feet, just all the chitlins, things like that. But even so, you had some of our ancestors who had no ailments. They ate all of those things and they had no health ailments. Why? One of the reasons is because they planted and farmed their own food. They had chickens, they had a cow or two, they had a pig, they had a land where they farmed and harvested food. You see what I'm saying? So with that, the food was much different than what it is now. Very much so. The food that they have now is not even necessarily food. So we have that we're dealing with. But also things that are inherited are psychological stresses, emotional stresses. All of these things are inherited. Something that's been inherited in my life is shame and guilt and the sexual abuse. That's something that's been inherited from the women in my family and possibly, I'm sure, some of the men. That's something that they don't talk about. Okay? Shame of our bodies, body shame. That's a big one that is usually inherited and passed down. And the mothers, the aunts, and the women in the family are the ones that usually pass it down first. They tell us that we're being fast when we're young and we develop too quickly. They say we're fast. Why? They had to keep us covered up and they had to keep us toned down so that back in the day, men wouldn't get us, the master wouldn't get us, things like that. And I need to say this again. All of us didn't come here as slaves. All of us didn't come here as slaves. You had indigenous people of this land right here in the Americas. Christopher Columbus ain't discovered a damn thing. You can't discover something was already here. You can't discover something that was already here. Okay? So this was already laid. The land was laid. The people were here. And the people were of darker hue. They call them the natives. They were indigenous of the land. Okay? Africans already had trade and commerce going through freights of liners, boats. They already had trade and commerce going through all of the continents. Okay? Yeah. The Polynesians, the Hawaiians, the Samoans. Yeah. They were on the islands of this land. Okay? They were voyagers. They had trade and commerce going too. So everybody that was here and all the blacks that supposedly are here was not the descendants of slaves. As it's really taught, it was a very small percentage. They make it like it was a lot, like most of the black people here descended from slaves. No, they just happened to populate a little more. But no, that's not it. So some of y'all really need to do some genetic work and find out who you belong to. Who you belong to, and how much African blood do you really have in you? And if you are, what continent? These are things you need to know about yourself. You need to know why you like and do things the way you do. What's some of your past lives? Have you ever asked that question? If you even believe in that, if you believe in reincarnation and resurrection, what's some of your past lives? What were they about? I know at least 3 of mine. And the past lives that I did have, it has resonated into this life now, into my likes, my dislikes, and the foods I consume. It has resonated into this life. So we have many different levels of inheritance. We just don't have biological and bloodline inheritances. We also have galactic inheritances. Your family that's here on the physical world, on the planet Earth, is not your only family. We have a spiritual family. We have a spiritual team. We have ancestors from on high, from other worlds. Yeah. So you are more than just this three-dimensional body, this mind, body, and spirit. You are so much more than that, beloved. You are consciousness. And consciousness is vast and wide, has no beginning and no end. That's who we are ultimately. We are in this avatar body. We've been put here in this avatar body. This is flesh. This disintegrates. This dissolves. This decays. This expires. But your energy, essence, your soul, your spiritual essence, your energy of what really and who you truly are, that goes back to source. That goes back to the big source power, the big source energy. So what we're doing here is doing our best to remember who we are that came into this avatar body in this realm. And the biggest challenge we're having here on earth is how to work the avatar body with all of the diversions and the distractions that we have available to us. How do we work this avatar body to optimal performance so that we don't have the illnesses and the inherited diseases and the discomforts and the pains? How do we work? How do we manipulate? How do we source and operate this avatar body to optimal performance? How do we do that with all of this inherited mush? That's what we all try to figure out. So ancestral trauma is very, very real. What I know has come through for me is guilt and shame. And like I said, the sexual abuse that came through for me. My mom, she was 19. She was pregnant with me by a married man in the 60s. So she had no husband, no father for her child. And she was a young Black woman. That must have carried a lot of fear. I know it carried shame. And I know it carried a lot of guilt. Yeah. So here she has the product of a child. I'm the product of her so-called negative choice. I'm the product of that. So yeah, I inherited her shame, her guilt, her fear, her anger, her disappointment. I inherited all that. I was being held in her womb while she was experiencing it. So yes, it came through me energetically. So I'm dealing with all of that right now when it comes to my weight. I'm dealing with guilt and shame for my body. Why? My mother felt that for her body because she felt like her body betrayed her when she got pregnant with me from a married man based on a choice she made. All of that came through to me. I am so happy that I'm able to identify with it. That's very important. Being able to identify with what I have inherited, what is mine and what isn't mine. You got to figure that one out. What is yours? Come on here. What is yours and what isn't yours? That's what we got to figure out. That's it. So I know what's mine and what's not mine. I'm over here dealing with my weight issues now. I eat good, eat healthy, all that, and I'm still carrying this weight. Why? Because I'm dealing with some inherited shame and body issues. Okay? So what am I doing to correct that? I'm making peace with my mama. That's the first thing I got to do. I got to make peace with her. I got to make peace with her. And I got to ask questions. It's going to be some uncomfortable stuff she don't want to talk about. But guess what? If I'm going to heal this thing and change the narrative, we're going to have to get down to the nitty-gritty. Because I got to heal this thing. I got to heal this thing. Come on, sis. Come on. Let everybody know who you are.
Yes. Hi, goddesses. I'm glad to be able to join you again in this space. My name is Allison Bynum, and just listening to our goddess sister Tracy, priestess Tracy, talk about the trauma that we go through, the body shame, the guilt from our ancestors. A lot of stuff that we carry is not ours, and we wondering why we think this way, or we thought that way. But the only way that we are going to heal is to go inwardly, and get to the source, the root of the problem, the root of why I act this way, why I respond to this, why I respond to that, because trauma has a way of hiding in ourselves. And we think because we're in this life that we don't carry other lifetimes of different things from our great grandparents. So as you go deeper and you go within, you're able to recognize what is going on. Why am I doing this? I need answers. It's just not surface stuff. And be gentle with yourself. Sometimes it takes more than one session. And I can share a testimony, a quick testimony about this past week. I was able to get on the pod and do a yoni steam, and I heard one of my ancestors crying. Couldn't figure out who it was, but I was able to hear. And after a couple of days, I'm still getting the downloads that's needed for me to be able to heal. We say we want this healing, but what are you willing to do for yourself? Are you going to give yourself more self-love to be able to unravel? And it may be nasty, it may be dirty, but you have to do it. Because not only would you heal yourself, you're going to heal the generations before and the generations after you. And that's an amazing thing. I told some goddess sisters of mine that our ancestors, they picked us. They picked each and every one of you. They picked me, they picked you, they picked the different people that were going to come through their lineage. They picked us and said, okay, this one, I know it's going to have these certain gifts. So we wonder why we go through this and why our lives are so chaotic at times. But out of chaos comes order. And we're all learning each and every day. We're like flower petals, picking one thing at a time, being gentle with yourself, but picking that petal and developing. We see the beauty of the flower. We see that the farmer, which is us, has planted the seed, but we don't see the germination of that process. We don't see what that flower or what that seed goes through in the process of coming up through the dirt. And we have an aha moment. Oh, it's beautiful. But do we really know? Do we really know? Sometimes we look at people and we say, oh, we reverence them and what they stand for, but we don't know what it took for them to get there. We don't know the process. And so a lot of us that have been called to healing, whatever healing gifts that you operate in, there is a process and you have to pay for that. But guess what? We said that while we were in spirit, and God knew the season and the time, the divine time for you to come forth. Don't fight it. You may be scared, but it's okay. But go anyway. Priestess Tracy talked about our galactic family. Yes, yes, yes. We also have a galactic tribe, a star tribe that we come from that is here as well, waiting for us to say okay. And they're waiting to come online to assist us because We have such powerful gifts and we have great assignments that we will accomplish, whether you accomplish them in this life or the next. It all depends on you. And it all depends on, like I said, what are you willing to do? What means of counseling do you need? It's just not a one-time thing and on a one-day thing. Even as healers, we need healing too. We need to be encouraged. And sometimes even when you, my sisters, need to be encouraged and you try to reach somebody on the phone, you're not able to reach them, encourage yourself. Go back, look at the beginning of your journey. Look at where you came from and where you are right now. Yes, you deserve kudos. You deserve those points. So I'm just grateful for this opportunity to be able to be before you. I don't take it lightly because you can be somewhere else. But for those that were able to come on today and share this space and time with us, I count it a joy. We need more of these meetings to be able to come together, to be able to let our hair down. And the reason why a lot of us are still very uncomfortable in letting our hair down, it goes back to slavery. How our oppressors, they turned us against each other. And so that came up in ourselves. Oh, I can't trust them. I can't. But guess what? It starts with you. Can you trust yourself? Can you trust yourself with some of the decisions? Not on the outside, but within here. How much do you trust you? When the Spirit of God, the Most High, Mama God, or whatever you call God, is okay. When the Spirit gives you that message or your ancestors tell you something, because we all have been programmed to go outside of ourselves and seek someone else's advice about what God is saying about our life. Now, there is a time where we seek godly counsel, spiritual counseling. But when it gets to the point where you don't listen, you feel like you got to always go on the outside, that says that you don't trust the Spirit for your life. And we have to lose that program. We have to go back. We have to go back to the beginning, and that's what's going on. We're going back. We're gathering pieces of ourselves with this shift. Be gentle with yourself. Drink more water. Eat more greenery for you. If your spirit is calling for you to fast, fast. If your spirit is telling you to take certain things out of our diet, like Priestess Tracy talked about, start educating yourself. Look at the ingredients in the food. You know, it's our responsibility. And that's what we have to do. Remove the responsibility of someone else and place it back on us. And that's so important. So I'm glad to be before you. I'm going to turn this back over to our lovely goddess sister that's always encouraging us and always uplifting us. All right, hold on.
So I want to thank Mother Goddess and Father God for us being here today. I want to thank our spirit team. I want to thank the ancestors for also being present. I want to thank them for participating in our walk, in our effort here as we figure this thing out, you know, as we heal our bodies and heal them, heal our ancestors, as well as healing the descendants and preparing the way for them. Because that's what we're doing. We're standing in the gap. We are standing in the gap for the ancestors and the descendants. And when it comes time for you to cross over and transition, what are you going to be able to say that you've actually done? What purpose? Are you living in purpose? Are you doing the work? Or are you letting those ancestral traumas overtake you to the point that you can't even get the work done? So much that we're holding on to is not our own. We got to identify with what is ours and what isn't. If it's something that you have a real hard time shaking, something going on with you that you just keep repeating. It's a pattern that just keeps happening no matter what you do. It's usually not even yours. It got a pull, an ancestral pull on your spirit, and it keeps repeating itself because something in your lifestyle has continuously kept it going. We, excuse me, have to figure out what that thing is. And you're saying, how do we figure this out? Well, one way is to sit down and meditate and journal. You have to write some things down. You have to figure some things out. How do I do this? Another way of figuring some things out, you need to know your blood type. You need to know your blood type. Many of us walking around here don't know what kind of blood we got in our body. How you don't know your blood type? You know, I found out I'm A positive. Guess what? I'm not supposed to be eating a lot of meat. I notice when I eat a lot of meat, my stomach gets very upset. I did not understand why. Why when I ate meat, I felt a real heaviness over my spirit. Why? Because A types don't create enough acid in their guts to dissolve and digest the meat. We are more plant-based people. Another thing, my body type. I have a stocky body type. That means with A positive blood, I consume starches and in a way where it inflames my blood. These are things you need to know about yourself so that you can know your epigenetics and start to reverse some of them. They call them curses, ancestral curses. I like to call them ancestral afflictions. We have to reverse those things. Also, a big one that we don't really connect with is the language that we use. The language also keeps us in bondage. I just was saying yesterday, they say, can you stop and rest? I said, I tried, but I can't. I notice when I try to go rest, I end up getting up trying to do some work. I just can't do it. And then I immediately stopped what I was saying. You remember that, Allison? Yes. I immediately stopped and said, hey, I got to change that language. It's not that I can't, it's that I won't. But I used the word can't as I wasn't responsible for it. So I tried to take myself out of being responsible for the action and the activity when I am the only one responsible. I'm the only one going to be able to sit down and stop. That's me. I can do it. There's no such thing as I can't do it. I had to check myself. That shit sounded crazy to me. It hit me. I said, and that's what it means by you working a spell on yourself. So I was working a spell on myself. So that meant if I said I can't rest, I don't know how, I can't do it. That means every time I attempt to rest, what's going to happen? I ain't going to be able to do it because I done talked it up in my consciousness. I done already told myself, my future self, my now self, and my past self, I can't do it. So it ain't going to happen. Because I didn't already put that spell on me. I broke that spell yesterday, honey. I said, I will get some rest. Yes. I will take a day off. Yes. Oh, yeah, I broke that spell immediately in mid-sentence. I said, I got to change that language. We say things that sabotage our progress. We use words like, I want. You want what? Want is a word of lack. You have to say, I desire. I desire to become X, Y, and Z. I desire to go X, Y, and Z. I desire to have X, Y, and Z. The word want is associated to lack. I don't want nothing. I don't want for nothing. Now, do I desire some things? Yes, I do. And in the word desire, it makes you responsible and accountable to your actions. I desire. Also the word I am. I am. Go watch the Moses Code. The Moses Code talks about the magical word I am. If you put the word I am in front of everything, I am is a God word. Let me tell you that right now. It's associated with you being the creator and the alchemist and the master over your life. That's what I am means. It is a definite, and indefinite word. So whatever you say, I am to, that's what you become. And you've just put a spell on you, whether it's a positive spell or a negative spell. Okay? And how do we know it's a spell? Well, first of all, they taught us it was called spelling when we learned language and we were writing words. They said it's spelling. And if you also know, this is the direct connotation to that, it's a spell, is that it's certain words they say are what? Curses. Ooh, you used a curse word. So I got a spelling over here and a cursing over here. That's how you know you are the master creator, by what you say and by what you do. When I go into the doctor's office and they run that family history and they ask me, do they have a cancer? Do they have this? Do they have that? I said, they did, but I don't, and I'm not going to. Don't put that on me, doc. Don't you put that on me. That's not in my family history. That's not in my narrative, because I have changed the narrative based on what? What I say and what I do, what I eat, what I think, what my lifestyle is. My lifestyle is different. I have changed the narrative for my family by eating, living, and handling stress differently. I have changed the narrative of ancestral trauma. Yes. Okay? So we say this because everything is not your own. It isn't. A lot of stuff you're going through, a lot of the reasons why you pick the men you pick, why you choose the relationships you choose, a lot of it has to do with the stuff you've seen, the stuff that was programmed into you through your family. You know what I'm saying? A lot of women come from these very female-dominated homes. Men, very few men, and the men they do have, girl, they so goddamn henpecked. They ain't got no spines. Guess what? You gonna go find you a man. You ain't gonna go find no strong man. Why? You see Mom and them, Aunt Debbie and them, Aunt Ethel and them, Aunt Merceline and them all had these spineless men who they ran over. More than 90% of the time, you're gonna go find you another spineless man that you can run over and do whatever to, and then complain about him like they did. And talk about how there ain't no good man out here. No, you didn't choose one. You chose a spineless one. The programming is so deep, goddesses. The programming and the conditioning is so deep, goddesses. You got to learn what's yours and what's not. We've been programmed and conditioned towards our money. We've been taught that money's the root of all evil. And that we're supposed to wait for ours, our pie in the sky. We just supposed to do good works. And as Black women, we supposed to serve. We supposed to just give till we ain't got nothing left. We just supposed to give to the mama, give to the family, give to the daddy, give to the kids, give to the employers. Just give. Don't give nothing to yourself. We just some goddamn work servants. We slaves to that. We slaves to that. So all of us over here lacking. We lacking. Health bad, depression, anxiety. You know, we've learned to normalize depression and anxiety. We've normalized it to the point we don't even know we're depressed as Black women. We don't know. Most of us have mental illness. Mental illness is a very real thing. We all have some mental illness. We all a little touched. Why? We have been through some stuff, baby. We all touched. We all have been through some traumas and had no counseling, no healing work, no processes. We were told to stuff and store that shit and move on with life. Abortions, miscarriages, stillbirths. Get up from the table, move on with life. Cancer treatments, hysterectomies. Get up, move on with life. Take it all in. Hold it. Yeah, that's what we're taught. That's some bullshit, y'all. You have a right. You have a right. You have an inherited right as the I am. Remember, I told you about that word. You have an inherited right as the I am to heal yourself and to connect with your happiness, your wholeness, and your healing. You have a right. You have an inherited right. It is your birthright to be happy, whole, and healed. It is your birthright to live free of disease and ailments. It is your birthright to live free of mental and emotional illness and abuse. It is your birthright to recover from illness, sickness, and disease. It is your birthright to live in prosperity. Money is not the root of all evil. Poverty is. You ever seen a poor man be able to do anything but stay poor? A poor woman be able to do anything but be depressed and comfortable in their boredom. I made up a word, boredom. In their boredom. You ain't seen nothing else but that with living in poverty. Most of us can't handle having money. Why? We don't know what the energy's supposed to feel like. That's why when some people win the lotto in about 3 years, all the money gone. You like, why didn't you invest it? Why didn't you make a trust for your kids down the line, the descendants? Like, so because you got a poverty mindset, you didn't pass it on. You ain't left nothing for the babies. Ain't left nothing for the babies. Why? Poverty has been conditioned in the mindset. They don't know what to do with that kind of energy. Money comes with an energy. If you notice, when you get some good money, and it comes from just out of somewhere, it could be anywhere or nowhere. When that money comes, you feel good. Don't you feel good? Because it carries an energy. Yeah, it's paper. Yeah, we give it value. And it carries an energy because it's a currency. It is a physical currency that allows us access to happiness, to success, and things that make us live comfortably. Why don't you know that is not your birthright, to live comfortably? We have made poverty and mental illness and depression, and we've normalized it. That's the curse. The curse is in normalizing your depression, in normalizing your poverty, in normalizing your uncomfortable situation and making it comfortable so that you can normalize it. You have to know who you are in this thing. You have to understand your worth. You have to understand you are worthy, guys. You are worthy of your birthright. And you have to release the stinking thinking that tells you you are not. And you have to release the people, places, and things that tell you you are not worthy. Some of you right now are in situations and environments that say you're not worthy. You're feeding that in the environment that you're in the people you're dealing with. I literally have to let relationships go when they start making me feel unworthy. When they start making me feel bad, a friendship, whatever, I have to let it go. And I be dearly loving the sisters. But I don't like the way it makes me feel anymore. We didn't grow to that part. It stops here. And it's okay. Because my health is number one. Me feeling good and being happy and whole and healed is my responsibility. It ain't their responsibility to make me feel good. That's my responsibility. So that means I have to make some choices when we get to a place where I'm not feeling good about myself anymore. I got to make some choices because I'm responsible for the edification of my spiritual, emotional, and mental health. I'm responsible for that. You are responsible for your spiritual, emotional, and mental and physical health. You are responsible for the edification of your soul. You are. No one else. So I need you to sit down and write. What are your strongholds? What things are holding on to you that you've been unable to shake? I know for me, it's been the weight, and it's been the shame and the guilt. If that's associated again with the weight. It's been the weight. I've been dealing with my weight issues all my life. I know where it started too. I know the origin. The origin is the body shame that came from my mother and grandmother, thinking they were protecting me by talking down about my developing beautiful body, making me feel bad about it because they thought in some kind of way that was going to make men unattractive to me or make them unattracted to me. See what I'm saying? And it did just the opposite. That's where it started. And then the violations, the sexual violations. I felt like my body betrayed me. I started emotional eating. And I notice now when I get highly emotional and things are going on, my mouth starts salivating for cheesy, buttery, creamy foods. Because I want the comfort. I want the comfort of the mother's milk. Because all of that is associated to the milk, to the comfort. So I'm associating all of that. I want that comfort. I want that euphoria that comes with eating those foods because they make me feel safe. Yeah. So you really need to tap in. You need to tap in and you need to be honest with yourself. But I understand why a lot of people don't like to do the work because the work is very uncomfortable. It's very uncomfortable. Don't nobody want to feel all that shit. They don't. Nobody want to feel all that. It's a lot. It's like an onion. Once you peel back one layer and think it's healed, oh, here comes some other stuff in the surface. You're like, well, goddamn, I just got through with that. What's going on? Yeah. But that's why we need circles like this. That's why we need groups like this. That's why we need one another so that we can continue to do the work and keep one another strong. And we can continue to build our resolve. And our sister can pull our coat when we're going in the wrong direction. That's important too. You got to be open to correction. You have to be open to correction. You got to. You can't be in denial all your damn life. Come on. Shit. If everybody leaving your ass, you the problem. You in denial of that too. You don't even want to face that. Every relationship in the same way. You the common thread. You the common contact. If every relationship in the same way, that's a pattern. Mm-hmm. What's your patterns? Well, ask yourself, what's your patterns? So I want you to do some soul work. I want you to get you a pen and paper. I want you to get a journal. And I want you to do some real soul work. And I want you to identify with some patterns and things going on with you. Okay, sisters? I love you. I love you. And we get through this together. We can. All right. Peace and blessings.
Love you.